I have to go back to the phone for this one. I don't know what's happened. I don't know why it can't work like that. So for those that have been hanging there, thank you. Just over here for a sec. Mick's here. We're just starting a tyre change. Mick, can we just sort of go back to the start of it? Sorry, mate.
Yeah.
And we're going to have to talk up because we're back on the phone. I know the audio is not as good, but we can't get the GoPro to link it to for some reason tonight.
Yeah, so anyway, what I've done, I've actually broken the bead now on this, and it took a little bit to do it. So what I did was took it over to the bike.
We'll go this bike in.
Yeah, oh, yeah, you can do it in the gravel.
So, yeah, we're on that same chat.
And what you do, get the tyre under there.
Come down, Lane, just get a shot of that. Now in place. So using the stand to push down and pop the bead off.
Just move it around.
And you need to watch that valve, Mick. Yeah, so just come in a bit closer. And off like that. Now, just a note, while we're here, you also notice how he's working on the upper side. He's not working on the disc side. So now when we go to do the disc side, Mick, what have we got to be careful of? Got to be careful we don't bend the disc, haven't we?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So we might flip it over. And we'll do the disc side, but it'll hold the weight off it a little bit while we do it. So it'll hold that off that disc, and I can still pop the bead, but the disc is off the ground and out of the way. See? So you've got to make sure you don't lean on and bend that disc.
That's why you don't do it in the gravel.
Yeah,
you
no.
do it in the workshop.
We're doing a roadside one, so we don't have a workshop.
Yeah. All right.
You need to stay close to the sound.
So I usually start at the valve, either side of the valve. Now this ridge here, the hollow here is to let the bead get into that, so that you can pull this side of the bead out over the outside of the
So as you
rim.
pull this side out, that side, the bead comes into that recess, and that's what gives you the extra space.
So you have to make sure that it's pushed down into that ridge.
And you're starting at the valve, Mick.
Yeah. It's heavy duty tubes.
I don't know.
So I've got my two tyre levers there, and I don't want them in too deep.
I notice you've gone the other time levers, not the unobtainium spoons. They're more the American
The spoons are fine. Yeah,
Yep.
they're good. Yeah.
Would you put 3 in?
No, I've never found the need.
Okay.
I've actually got one tyre lever in my kit, and I've got a back axle spanner that's been cut off and ground down to a tyre lever.
Yeah,
so
right.
it's fairly short, but
Yep.
it's still effective. And I find if they're narrower at the tip,
Yep.
they seem to be more effective
Okay.
and less chance of a puncture. But the spoons are good. I use them at home. I've got a long one.
That's a hard time.
She's in there.
And one thing you can do is just clip that underneath the disc while you work on this one.
So just a couple of the guys are just questioning how far we got into it, Jay. So just a little, just a brief explanation.
I'm going to go back on this. So in future, I'm not going to post a link up. You know how I've been posting a link? Last week we couldn't pick the link up. This week again we couldn't pick the link up. So you're just going to have to go to the YouTube channel on Friday night at 7 o'clock. We'll put it on Facebook, but I'm not going to post a link anymore. And that way you just go to the channel, pick it up, and off you go from there. I'm sorry, guys. My bad. I run a better ride than I do work with technology.
We'll get onto this. We'll get it sorted for you guys. Make it a little bit nicer,
So
a little bit easier.
what we did cover, Rooster was late. That's the important thing, isn't it, Mick? and he's not helping with the tyre. How you going with it, Mick?
I'm struggling with that.
It's hard to old tyre. So while we've got a very experienced guy here doing this tyre with a really awesome haircut, the same as mine, and we did cover off Mick's hair at the start. Yeah, that's one of the things was we just talked about. We talked about what we've been doing in COVID, and that's about it, really.
So you didn't miss too much, guys.
May as well go to questions while I'm doing this.
Questions. Okay, hang on a sec.
So she's a hard old tyre, that one, Mick.
Yeah.
How much to start? That's sorry, Nerve there. That's what happened, mate. No idea halfway through the tyre chain. So we're just picking back up on that now. We're gone back to the start of that. We did set our clocks, Lindsay. It wasn't daylight savings, just we had technology dramas. Lindsay, we come out of lockdown on the 1st. We need your bike down here. As I said last week, we'll put it on display. We'll go through some stuff they'd love to cover off the PR7. Anyone saying open book on 2B says technical difficulties getting through the first second? Yeah, it was definitely, mate. And Cam, the Jerry Cam.
On your Jerry.
You're welcome to come and help us with it, I'll tell you. Last week goes smoothly once we get going, mate. And I know the sound's not as good, so we'll do that. Tony reckons we're going to the pub. I haven't been to the pub yet, Tony. I know. I haven't been to the pub. Someone nipped round, knocked on the shed door. Sorry, mate. It's my bad. Clay on 2 wheels. This is what happens when you have mechanicals and motorcycle riders manage IT. And again, I know the sound's not as good, so we'll get it sorted anyway. We'll be on top of it. How you going there, Mick?
Breaking fingers.
Right, so come in close.
It's been in there a while, this one.
So I just want to share something here. Normally at this stage, I don't take the tube out. So what I would do, I would take the other side of this off, okay? And then I now have the tyre over both sides of the rim. I push the rim down the bottom where the valve is.
I was going to say, you want to go?
Push it out and I peel it out.
Who's cooking this barbecue, mate?
Yeah. You know what?
But there are different ways, aren't there? Different people like to do different
this is
things.
Stuck into the tyre.
Okay. So that's off a 1949 WR, is it?
I don't know where Rooster found that wheel today.
And this is another reason why I put baby powder in them.
Unless he's been riding where it's wet, then it wouldn't be there anymore.
Yeah, true, yeah. We might have to do it TV style, I think, the way this is looking. Although I've already got the valve in it.
Yeah, you've already pulled the valve.
What was that?
What?
Nothing. Don't worry about it. She's welded in there, Yags.
It's just like it's stuck to the tyre.
Sorry about the camera work, guys. Because we've switched over to the phone, we don't have the gimbal, so she's a little wobbly. I've done 3,000 push-ups today, so the hands are a little bit jiggered. What the hell? It's not the dog. It's not the dog. No. I'm saying nothing.
What I meant?
No, that wasn't Sharon going past on the mail bike, mate.
Okay, so Hayoma learner, I had to go at a GR650, otherwise I would have bought a T7. I wish they had the unrestricted version. So yeah, the MT-07 Badger, yeah, the MT-07 they do a learner legal, but they haven't done it on the T7.
Now you're cooking with gas, Mick.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Greg's neighbours are a bit feral.
Wow.
Bloody gorillas. A gorilla on a monkey? Isn't a gorilla a monkey?
No.
Are they two different things?
A monkey bike and a gorilla, two different things, but a worry if you ever get to see one out.
A monkey bike. So where do we go from here to then when you're doing it this time?
So at this time now, so I just
You got
push
that
that down
right
the
down
bottom,
there?
yeah, and pick your highest spot, and just peel that over now. So just push one way, pull the other.
This is a stitch up, you
No, it's not a stitch up, yeah. It is the hardest tyre I've ever seen.
Where's that bloody hammer?
There's no hammer on the track.
No hammer on the trailer.
See?
Surely you can find a big
Like,
rock.
seriously? How
Lindsay-
easy is that tyre?
Lindsay wants to know why you're leaning on the tyre changing machine and Mick's doing all the work.
We're trying to do the roadside. Is it ultra heavy duty too?
Yeah, it is, but it's funny blue, isn't it?
Okay, so that's how old. So now, if Mick had been riding this when it failed, obviously it would have been heated up and it wouldn't have been so hard to get out.
If I was riding that one that failed, I probably wouldn't have even known it was flat. Serious.
She's that stiff and that solid.
Dan, tyre changing, tyre mounting compound? Yeah, 100%. So we either use this one here, we've got, when we're putting tyres on the machine, we use this one here, Yamalube, tyre them out. Now, I'll give you a red hot. This is a red hot, all right? Next time you go to a motel, right? Oh, but if you're with
No, don't tell me about that. No, not that story. The
Not
other
the
option.
Spark
The other option.
Spa suite, sorry.
Yeah.
Now, when you go, where have you been?
I had to go to the toilet.
Oh, when you go and stay at a motel, scoot in the door, get the shampoo, get the conditioner, get the...
Gloves.
If you use that, you haven't used that lotion they give you for your skin. No. Get the lotion for the skin, get all those little satchels, little containers, throw them in your tool bag. Perfect amount.
Because it rubs the lotion on its body.
Anyway, so when you use the shampoo, it'll remain slippery till it dries down. I see people go, I use rubber grease. Yeah, great. Vaseline, great. You know the problem with that? It stays slippery.
Yeah.
So you go and put the brake on, wheel spins around, tears the valve out. So you need something that dries. Truck, we used to use truck wash for years. Truck wash, dishwashing liquid, tyre mount stuff. You need something that dries. Don't use something that doesn't dry. WD-40 spooks me because I think it stays slippery too.
So what are we going to use today? We're going to use the emerald?
No, we'll use the brush because we're in struggle street enough as it is.
Dan's mentioned, you mentioned don't use baby powder due to water.
Okay, well,
What
then,
do you use?
I do use baby powder if I'm going to Simpson, I'm running low pressures, because as with a lower pressure, as that tyre flexes and the tube flexes, it rubs and creates a lot of heat, okay? So I'm going to Sim, I do. I don't worry about it here on the East Coast, and Michael pointed this out really good. You can use it, because if I go through enough creek crossings, it gets wet and it's gone, all right? And also on the East Coast, how long does the tyre really last? So, yeah.
Lubed up, Mick.
Do you carry that on the track, dude?
Yeah. Now, no, we're going to do this the other way.
We're going to do
So,
it the other way.
Yeah,
Do it
so
our way.
the way we do it. So this one doesn't have a rim lock, does it?
No.
Now, if you're putting a rim lock
There's
in
a
your bike,
spot for a rim lock.
where would you put your rim lock?
I'd put it fairly close to the valve.
4 spokes is the hint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although into this one here.
Yeah, so that's the first flat. You see, that's a square, that's a square, these aren't. So you go 4
they're
spokes.
spreading out.
Yep, right. That's going to create the 2 heaviest parts, be it the valve and the rim lock in the one spot. So we're going to be able to balance. Now, later on we'll scoot around some of our bikes that we've done that and we've got a heap of weight. It's the fastest way to change it because as we're about to demonstrate, we can put the tube in the tyre, we can start that in and we can feed it around the rim lock and put it all on in one go, right? If the rim lock's opposite, you can't, okay?
Right.
That's the easiest way to balance it, but you can't do it that way. And now what are you going to do? I'm not a fan of, I've got short little fat fingers. I'm not a fan of trying to pull that through the hole.
Yeah.
Okay? So what we do now, this is an ultra heavy duty tube, it hasn't got the valve in it, but it's holding shape. So Mick puts that in there, right? It'll hold enough shape in that tyre to do what we want to do. Did you use the brush? You did, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yep.
It's a lube, so
That's not correct. On the
yeah. Geez, that's shocking, isn't it?
Got a new one there?
So that's holding enough shape to stay out of the way now. To sit it down on the non-disc side, he'll feed the valve through, start the nut, and then he'll be able to lay it on.
Tyre change the brakes
Next week.
Who's that?
Nerb 1.
Nerb?
Get Nerb. We'll see you up here, brother. Come on, Nerb. Get up here. Show us how it's done, bro.
Back in the day, we were doing them at the 4-day in under the 10-minute work period, but that's a long time ago.
2 tyres and an air cleaner.
Crash and I did 2 tyres and air cleaner in 10 minutes in 2006 one, but it's a long time ago.
So much better for the clutch lever again. The hydraulic.
Yeah, I'll go back and cover that off when you talked about it earlier.
Oh, blue boy. Same guy.
So he's just got to watch out. See, he's got his valve already in, and he's only putting one side of the tyre on too. You can't put both sides on together.
Like $1 for every time you done one of these, Mick.
Yeah. I still don't get them changed at the shop.
No.
Yeah.
No.
No.
I'd rather.
I can't stress how much harder this is on a cold night,
Yep.
which it is a bit cold tonight. So see how he's just fed one side on? Now he's only got the other side to go, and it's easy peasy Japanese. I don't run, none of our 700s run a rim lock on the front. I thought it would be an issue. We do get a bit of creep, don't we? So we try and load it, as we talked about earlier, and I don't think we're talking this video, have we?
Yeah. So just saying here, when you get to this stage, you want to make sure that you can push the valve
Come over and
in.
show that. So the valve.
So you can push the valve in so that the bead will drop down
Yep.
in behind or in front of the valve. If I get that one in there.
Come on, Nick.
I have done this before.
Raven was asking, what does the actual rim lock do, Greg?
So the rim lock clamps.
We should have put one in.
Yeah, as the tyre comes in, there's a rim lock over there. The rim lock sits in the valve. It sits in its extra hole, and as the tyre comes down to the rim, and I'll show you when we get a tyre in a minute,
Okay.
if Mick doesn't kill us with it.
It's a good question.
Yeah, that's a good question. Bottom drawer over there, mate. Bottom drawer.
So you got it to that point then, Mick, you're 80% on.
Cardboard against your left
Yeah.
hand.
So she's
What
starting to get tight now.
Yeah. What I want to do is make sure that that valve stem
Yep.
will go in and see that's actually sitting on the rim now.
Yep.
Because sometimes you have problems with this being in behind the tube.
Okay.
With a heavy duty tube or an ultra heavy duty tube, they hold their shape that well that it normally doesn't happen. Another thing I do is make sure I push the tyre right down
Yep.
so that the tube is pushed away from the rim here,
Okay.
so that when I go to have another bite,
You're not pinching
I'm
it?
not pinching it.
Yeah, okay, cool. Good explanation.
So onto
What
the
have we
rim
got there,
lock.
Greg?
Our tyre normally sits down either side here like that.
Yep.
This is the rear rim lock, and I've only got a front rim, so we're going to have to demonstrate, but the idea is the same.
So I'm just taking small bites here to make sure that I'm not putting too much load on this side and making sure that this is still down in this.
And even you could even creep around a little bit more on that side if you wanted to. So you can push
Yeah,
that in. Here we
so
go,
that-
pop.
Pop
Yeah.
that.
Okay, so that makes
So that's giving me
life
an
easier.
advantage, yeah.
So all those little bits, those little increments make a difference.
Yeah. This will be the last one there.
Those
There
one
we go.
percenters.
Done.
Yeah.
And then sometimes I'll even do this kind of thing to make sure that it's,
Well, there you go. I haven't seen
Seated in the valley.
yeah, well, it's not, it pulls it out towards the, it pulls the bead towards the edge of the rim here.
And you'll
Okay.
hear a lot of people talk about pulling the bead out. If you're on the trail and you can't get the bead, don't panic. It's not the end of the world.
Yeah, hit a few rocks and
Yeah, it'll be.
settle.
So we're back to this tyre with the rim lock. So the tyre, if you look inside, would normally come down either side like this. The idea of the rim lock is, as the tyre's there, this comes down and it clamps it in.
Just hold it sideways there.
And it sandwiches the tyre. This is the wrong size, but you'll get the idea. It sandwiches the tyre in like that,
Yep.
and it bites on the tyre and stops the tyre moving.
Okay. So it stops you having that spin of your tube, yeah?
Yeah, especially important on the back
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
and with low tire pressure.
with all that
We've
power.
run all our WRs around here without rim locks. We go to Simpson and we're down to 12 and 14 PSI, then we go to rim locks for sure. For sure, and chisel. One finger clutch.
Nice work, Mick.
Thanks, Mick.
we stitched you up a bit.
I was sweating more than when I was riding the mountain bike here.
There you go, mate. All right, so we talked about one finger clutch against hydraulic clutch. We're going to go over it again. So it's an interesting one. I don't know where the oiler is. Yes, it is. So back to that conversation. I'm a cable man. I like the simplicity of a cable clutch. I like the fact that the clutch perch, this attaches to here. Can we come over here, please, Howard? This perch, if I run out of talent and crash, this perch and I break it across here is between 14 and say $25, right?
That's why I got bark custards.
100%, 90% of the time. They're 100% effective 90% of the time.
Yeah.
Right, so that and the simplicity for me. Now, as Mick pointed out, who's a hydraulic man, one of the things about it is it ends up with contaminants, with dirt, with dust, and everything, and it becomes heavy. And it requires maintenance. We'll get to that in a minute. Mick's a hydraulic man, so hydraulic clutch, traditionally light, easy to do, can be fiddly to set up. Once you get it set up, no problems at all. No adjustments. With these, sometimes need a regular adjustment or a little bit of a nip. You need to have See that? You need to have that there on your cable clutch all the time. Because if you don't, it's pulling on the clutch like you're pulling the clutch a little bit, which is pulling the plates, which can cause it to slip. And when they slip, no good. No good comes from it, okay? No good comes from a slipping clutch. The hydraulic one is no adjustment, right? It adjusts itself. The downside of the hydraulic clutch internal seal failures on the slave cylinder, and we know on our Huskies and our Cayennes, that means it will internally leak in the engine. You don't even know until you don't have a clutch. Yep. Quite often on long trips, I've jury-rigged the second one next to it, and I've had one there. I don't think I've ever used it, but you need to keep your eye and make sure they don't fray. That's it for me. Hydraulic, you want to add anything?
Magura Mick?
No, I just find that they're lighter. I don't have to worry about them at all, ever.
Yeah.
I can hose the bike off.
Have you had one fail?
Never.
Never, okay.
So they've got them pretty good these days, haven't they? But like everything,
Well,
different strokes for different folks.
690, like Cooley, who'll be watching, David Poole, welcome. He won't even ride his bike until he puts an aftermarket slave cylinder on. I know Watto's changed all the 701 O-rings in the slave cylinders because it's a common issue, so that's that there. Now, just onto this, we want to just clean and service that clutch. Hang on a sec, champ. We'll pull this off here. We'll pull it off up the clutch end. This is a demo cable we're using here. We'll feed that into there. I'm all finger. Oh, hang on.
Back
Right. Feed that into there. Put that over there. Leave that up there like that. Clamp that on. We get in our case, we normally use iPone. We put it in there. We blow that through. We blow the cleaner through.
So where does it go, Greg? Which hole?
In this hole here, the one with the hole. This one doesn't have a hole.
Okay,
It'll feed it in down through between the inner and outer, and you'll see it come out down the other end, right? Happy days. Once I've cleaned it, flushed it out, I might blow some compressed air in it, and then I'll normally use a bit of WD-40 or a bit of chain lube.
So the one finger clutch, does that change the ratio?
It does. It changes the ratio, which I thought I was a bit worried about the issue. I couldn't get on the Camel 3-finger clutch on my Tenere. I couldn't get out to the far one, but I could get the middle one, and it definitely made a difference and a lot lighter. But I've also on my bike got the Yamaha aftermarket genuine hard part levers. That's lighter again. So
I think you still get the same separation at the clutch plates.
Well, it appears to. Yep, it appears to. But the biggest trouble I had was when I first started riding technically with the light clutch, I couldn't find the point, and so I was like dipping over or so it's something you got to get used to.
Yep. But you got used to it now?
Yes, got used to it.
Awesome.
Someone brought up Steve Isberg. Can you get them for the 150 tyre?
What?
Rim lock.
No, I don't know. So it's not the 150 tyre that's the issue, Steve. It's the 4 inch or 4 1/4 inch rim is the issue. My 700 has a 2.5 inch rim on, so I've gone to a rim lock because of the more aggressive knobby tyre, has more traction, and it can bite and start to spin it off. So, yeah.
Cool.
Good, that's it.
Can I have, there's some questions over there.
So we one down?
Yeah, we're going to do 1 down 5 up. So the prize this week for the 1 down 5 up is, I do want to talk about something before we do. I'll do it after that. How are we have for time?
In 20 minutes.
Returns. Okay, so we'll do 1 down 5 up. The questions I didn't see in there. So the winner of 1 down 5 up will be the intro course we've got here on the 13th and 14th of November. So it's best suited to a person getting new into adventure riding, might be coming from years of riding. It's a great ride, but there's so much to learn. All this stuff that we're talking about now comes up.
Yep.
And even sometimes we get a tyre change in. We always cover off trackside stuff. We talk about
Tools,
wildlife, all sorts of stuff. So it's like 2 days of this sort of.
Greg, if someone wins this and they're well advanced in their riding, can they nominate a mate as a gift?
Yeah, you can nominate a mate. You can change it out.
What a great idea!
But it is a good time. So you can free camp here on the property Friday night with the crew. We're going to have a bonfire.
It's
go
cheap.
from there. It's cheap.
Entry fee, cheap.
Okay, I decided because it's October that 1 down 5 up, and you've got to get ready with your phone because you need to see the answers coming through. So make sure you scroll to the bottom, and you're good to go.
It's his first time doing it, so you're doing good, Roost. You're doing good.
Yeah. I decided because it's October and we're all around engines and bikes and stuff like that, we might diverse a little bit. I want to talk about Bathurst 1000. It's October, it's the time of the year we sit in front of the TV for 10.5 hours and watch it. So I'm going to talk about that. So you're good to go?
Yeah, mate.
Righto. So first person in with the correct answer gets to play the next question. As soon as they've got a wrong answer, and we've stopped helping, as soon as you get a wrong answer, okay, you're out. But you have one lifeline, and this week it's curly head Mick here. He's going to be your lifeline. So
Magura
you
Mick.
ask him.
Magura Mick.
All right. So we're talking about Bathurst. Who won the 1972 Bathurst?
So 1972, who finished first?
And that was actually known as the Hardy Frodo 500 then. And he went on to win a couple. He was pretty handy. Brooke?
Colin Bond.
No, 71 was Colin Bond. Brooke?
Peter Brock.
Who's that?
Oh, sorry, Brock was the first one. Julian.
Yeah.
Julian D.
Julian? Okay, you're on, Julian. You're up for the second question. Now, anyone else answers it, look, it's up to you. If he sees your answer and helps him out, well then, you know, that's up to you. So, okay, which driver... No, let's go back to here.
The preparation.
Okay, here we go. Now, I've got them all. I'm just trying to get them into order.
Get them
Who was Wing Percy's co-driver in the 1990 race?
Oh.
They drove a VL Commodore.
Win Percy. I think I know who that was.
It was local to where we are now. Well, his main sponsor was local over the years.
Yeah.
Who's that? No, is that the guy button? That's not. Need the right person.
No, it wasn't Gricey.
Julian, come on, Julian. All you other people can answer to the cows come home. Julian's got the right of response for the next 15 seconds. Scroll. Here we go. No?
No, Julian.
Is it Julian? No?
Julian.
Come on,
Googling
Julian. Julian, you got 7 seconds.
He's Googling it as fast as he
6
can.
seconds. 5 seconds. 4 seconds. 3 seconds.
Does it start with an S?
Nope.
Ah.
Is that Julian?
Julian, hang on, still.
You're still Googling?
Julian's gone. Julian's gone. First correct answer now. Sorry, Julian. Who's that?
So who was the first one?
No, first correct answer
Yeah.
as of now.
As of now? Tony.
Tony Randall. Is it? Tony Randall. Alan Grice, you are correct. Right, our next one's for you, Tony Randall.
So you need to talk about. People need to hang off until he.
Yeah,
gets
you
it
need to
wrong.
hang off till he gets it wrong. That's the key, isn't it? Okay, so who has the most Bathurst? Who has the most wins in the Bathurst? Ooh, that's a hard one. That's a bit hard.
Quite hard to read, or hard to answer.
Okay, at the end of the first straight at Mount Panorama, there is a hard left-hand corner. This turn sees a lot of jockeying for position, especially on the opening lap of the race. If there's going to be an accident, it's probably where it will happen. What is the ghoulish name given to this bend? It's the first turn at Bathurst. It's the end of the straight.
All right, Tony.
Come on, Tony.
Yeah.
There we go. Parish has put an answer up, but we won't yell it out.
Who are we waiting for? Tony. Come on, Tony. No, is that Tony? No.
Oh, no.
Come on, Tony.
Come on,
Tony.
Tone. It's
Stop
there.
Googling, Tony.
There for the taking.
Come on, Tone. Okay, you got
5.
10 Mississippis. 9 Mississippis. 8 Mississippis. Scroll, make sure we're up to date.
We're up to date.
6 Mississippis.
Take me
5,
sweet ass time.
4,
Ba-boom.
3. Come on, Tone.
Oh, here we go.
I give up.
All right, first
There was-
correct answer now.
There was one. There
Jason.
we go, Jason.
Oh, big Jace. How's that 1200 treating you, Jace? All right, so Jace is up. Okay, who was Tony Longhurst I don't know what year that is. Hang on a sec. No.
Jason said good.
Jason said, good, you're good on it, Jace. It's a good bike. No, we never rode that to church before they bought that off us. Never had a hard time
Only
at
on
all.
Sundays, wasn't it?
Yeah. What year, Jason, did Peter Brock form his own team and drive in his own team and win the role? It wasn't his own team. He left the Holden dealership. What was his first win outside the Holden dealership? And I think it might have been his first one with the 05 number.
Mm.
It is.
Anyone lip read?
Is that him then?
Jason, wrong.
You got wrong, Jace.
Jason's wrong.
Hell corner.
Jason.
Good on
Jason's
you.
wrong. Okay, first correct answer now.
Why is Michael still saying hell corner?
The yellow
Nerb.
car.
On your nerb.
Dean.
Dean got it. 1975. Very good, my friend. Very good. All right.
Sorry, Jason.
Sorry, Jace. What model car was Jason and Stephen Brights driving when they won Bathurst in 1998, Jason?
Who were the drivers?
Jason Bright and Stephen Richards.
Right.
Who are you looking for? Who are you looking for?
Huh? Dean.
Dean. Which model car was Jason Bright and Stephen Richards driving when they won Bathurst in 1998?
We're working
put it
with
up
professionals
twice.
here, Mick.
Preparations answered. Dean. EL Falcon.
EL Falcon. Well done, Dean. How many
Nice
more
work.
you got? I've lost count.
1, I think.
2.
2 more.
2.
Okay. Bathurst Cruise. Which Bathurst Cruises?
That's a first. 2 in a
We could
row.
ask when Brocky switched brands.
I want to know what year Peter Brock was born.
Mm.
Is that the question?
Yep.
Oh, there
What
you
year
go.
was Peter Brock born? Who are we looking for?
Dean.
Dean. What year was Brocky born?
Come on, Dean. You got it.
I hope he's got his missus Googling fast.
Those fingers going. Oh, you've got 5.
51, he said.
Oh no!
Wrong.
Wrong. Come on,
Who's
first
next?
person in now.
44 Jace.
Is it? No, is it before or after?
After.
Oh,
45.
it was after? Yeah, so
Yeah.
Jace. Jace.
45. Was it 45?
Jace, it is 1945. Jace.
There
No,
you go.
no second name, just Jace. Alright, this is it. This is for the
He's put
for,
up twice.
this is for the intro ride.
Same. Those 2 different Jace. There's a Jason and a Jace.
Jace.
No,
Which one was it?
Jace.
It's Jace.
Alright.
JASE. What do you got for him?
I'll have a look. I'm trying to
Oh,
pick a good one
it's
out.
got to be a good one.
Yeah.
Oh, Jason was back into it.
Who were the 2 drivers, Jace, that had the famous argument face to face at the elbow? Who were the 2 famous drivers? One was a Kiwi,
Yeah.
one was a Tasmanian. Who were they?
No, they were spitting chips. They were into one another. Do they still talk? I don't even know if they still
I don't
talk.
think so.
Bad blood, Yags.
Bad
Bad blood.
Probably saying Rooster's loving it. Oh, yeah. This is a bit of fun. It's good to be back.
It's good to
in
be
the
back.
show.
Jace, the 2 drivers, who were they? Jace?
No, Jason hasn't message. Here we go.
No.
No.
Here we got, Tony's answered.
Yeah.
We need
Come
Jace.
on, Jace.
This is the last question too, isn't
It
it?
is the last question. It's for the whole.
Right.
No.
No, Jason is still.
Come on, Jace.
It's there for
You
you.
got 5 Mississippis, big fella. I was going to say they'll finish for a beer, but no. 4 Mississippis.
One sip.
What was it? No.
No,
No.
Jason's.
Here we go.
Jace, Ambrose, and
And
Murph.
Murph.
Very
All
good,
right.
Jace.
Google
You're in.
Quick.
All right, Jace, you need to send an email to RideADV with just saying it's Jace here and I won the intro from 1 down 5 up, and you need to talk about how it's the most awesome quiz on Friday night live shows. So that's us.
Ever, amen.
Ever, amen. Yes. All right, just briefly, and again, just want to cover off. We will not post a link to the YouTubes on Friday nights now. You'll just have to go to the channel at 7 o'clock. We will talk about it on Facebook, but we're not going to post a link, and that'll get rid of this drama, okay?
Should be on your favourites anyway, guys.
Yeah, I can't believe it. Please subscribe to us. I've got 2 things we want to do now. We're going to talk about what's special in the suspension of this bike, and I'm going to talk about my favourite tool of the week, okay? So while I talk about my favourite tool of the week...
And he's not talking about an angry tradie on the F3 either.
No, not. What I am
Is
going
that
to talk
directed
about...
at me?
No, not at all, mate.
Guilty conscience.
What I want to talk about is 3 things. I want to talk about my Milwaukee impact gun, and you've seen me touch base on this before. What I do like about this is it has multiple different settings here, and these different settings. This number 1 setting is like the perfect setting, the torque setting for doing the triple clamps when you just run them together, okay? Before you check them, obviously, with the tension wrench. So this is a great tool, battery lasts forever, 6 volt, 6 amp battery, and M12. We do a lot of sticker kits. Running, dragging a cord around all the time was an issue. This Milwaukee, and pretty well all my tools are Milwaukee with the exception of the snap-on gun. And the snap-on wrap, if you're out there, I wish I'd never bought this. It's okay, but it's no good.
No sponsorship here.
No sponsorship here.
No cash for comment.
All right, so, but the Milwaukee stuff I do like. Rooster, what do you have?
I have Makita.
There's Makita. And you know what we say about Makita? All right.
Hey.
Because where are you, Rooster? I'm replacing my Makita. But anyway, for when I'm doing graphics, now, even when you are doing sticker kits and graphics, a hairdryer is traditionally probably better than this. You can get heat in them too fast, too quickly, and that's when shit all goes sideways. I put all mine on dry. I know people put them on wet and the whole lot, but yeah, so we do that.
Mick, why didn't he give you that heat gun when you were trying to get that tyre off? You talk about good mates looking
So
after you.
Ray has said still doing weekly sessions after lockdown.
Yes, we are.
Unless there's a ride on.
No. We've made the decision we'll probably take some of them to the rides as well. So the first one when our ride start will be from Gundagai. It'll be from the car park in Gundagai, and we'll be sitting around. It'll be more of a panel style thing. We'll have had a couple of beers, a big day, and we'll be talking about that. So it will continue for a bit, yeah. As long as we can, mate. As long as we've got content, and as long as you people are asking questions. I mean, I don't want to stand there and talk to myself. I can go home and do that.
Does that all the time. What have we got here? Look at the colour of this. Ooh-wee. It's just
Yeah, tell us about this, people.
people.
What's that, mate? All right, so
People.
So this suspension set in this WR is a set that Nick at Tanix built me a few years ago, and I'm actually getting a set built for my 700 now with his settings and his valving. But there's two key components to this. So we've got these outer fork tubes. They are a coating called Kashima coating. Now Kashima coating became popular in Australia when the Africa Twin and the PR7 AJP had issues with the internal coating on the fork tubes. So in the fork tube, you've got these bushings sliding up and down inside the fork tube. So that's sliding up and down inside there. They have like a Teflon coating on them. What was happening was the coating on the fork tubes, like I said, Africa Twin PR7, would wear out and would contaminate, and the aluminium would contaminate the valving and stuff in the bottom. Can you grab one of those valving things off the bench over there, please? So you'll see it next to the bottom valve, yep. So inside the bottom of the fork on the WR is these tiny little valve sets, and they have little shim packs in them, okay? And what would happen is the aluminium would get in these holes, it would get in the shim packs and stuff that are in here, and it would contaminate it, and then you wouldn't work properly, right? So what happens then, that goes to the ship. So that's one of the things you're battling. The other thing you're battling all the time, and my new WR was a classic for it, my new WRF. The suspension, it was very stiff. And the suspension was stiff, a lot of it had to do with the stiction. And the stiction is how much force it takes to slide the two seals up and down this current, up and down your fork leg. Now, this is an outer seal, this is the dust seal, and there's another seal. So if I was doing, and Abby put a great video on Abby the Sweep, she popped the dust seal down and she put the seal saver, can you get the seal cleaner off my what? So this stiction, the stiction is the rubber sliding up and down there, actually affects the ability of the fork to compress and rebound. So much so, I think Nick was showing us once about on a private chat page, SNW, the forks were that
Sticky.
SWM, sorry, but the forks were that sticky in them. A lot of the valve was actually controlled by the sticks. The fork was damping. Yeah, damping was controlled by the sticks with that. So this has very little, if any, stiction. And this bike, you can ride it through the car park and go over a speed bump, and that job, it's hardly there. And the shock body and the shock shaft in this bike is exactly the same. Now this, where's my paperwork, because I can't remember this. This Kashima coating, here, and this purple and coating here. Now I had to bring Nick in, and I wanted to be up to date on this. The coating It's a rainbow PVD coating, and he had it done by a Richard Pearson, I think, in North Carolina. So he sent these to the States to have this coating done. The Kashima coating that Nick uses is done in Japan. And this coating technique, and it's used to deposit a thin film on the surfaces. And what did they say it was? Particle vapor dispersion or something is the PVD of what it is.
Depositation.
Depositation. And if I'm wrong,
Technical.
just go and boil a jug, okay? I don't care. But I can tell you it makes a difference. Now, this set, you really don't know the price of this suspension set built and done. So they had to go to, they and the shock shaft had to go to North Carolina, and the other parts went to Japan. Is it worth it? Oh, by the way, this has got what's the, I should have prepped for that. Low sticks and seals as well. Is it worth it? No, for 90% of blokes, no. If you can do it, mate, it makes a difference. Peter Payne from Yamaha and anyone that comes in our rides knows Peter, knows what Peter puts into worldwide development of WRFs around the world. He said to me when I had it done, he said, it's a waste of money. I know. Peter rode this bike on one of the rides and pulled up at the end of the first day and said, every motorbike should have it. So he went from saying it's a waste of money to every bike should have it. So he's a believer. I'm going to do this next week. I think we're going to run out of time. We'll do this next week so we've got something to cover off. We're going to talk about the Seal Doctor next week. I'm not a huge fan, but I've got to say, I've seen it save the bacon a couple of times, so I'm becoming more of a fan.
I've got a bit of Coke bottle cut off in the kit that
Yep.
you can just shove up in there and slide it around.
I know.
So we're going to start a GoFundMe so Mick can get a Seal Doctor.
I've got a Seal Doctor, but it's too
And a haircut.
too heavy to carry.
And a haircut.
Hey, well, we'll give him we'll get the shearers out for him later on, mate.
You got anything come up, mate, that we need to know about?
Oh, Ray said, plus you can tell your mates you're fast enough to overheat your fork tubes.
Yeah, no, it makes a difference. It really does, and I was surprised at the difference it makes. I really got to tell you. But no stiction, so yeah, when you've got the forks apart and you slide the seal up around, it's just amazing. One thing we do when we wash our bikes, and we pressure wash our bikes. I know people go, just don't blast it directly into here. When we wash our bikes, we wash our fork legs, and we normally spray a bit of WD-40 around them. So when first time, instead of being a completely dry chrome leg and you blow it through the stroke, first time it's got something there to start with.
And we just, obviously, we make sure it doesn't go onto the disc.
Yeah, obviously. Good point. WR Rally a few years ago, Mick, we rode all this mud to Saturday. We rode all this mud to the Oak Milk Bar at Freeman's, and we were there an hour, weren't we? And in this stage, all the mud dried in here.
Yeah.
Right? When we left that day, and we went straight out first jump, Lincoln Bryan from Watto's did something like 16 fork seals that night at Watto's. He stayed there till about 9 o'clock at night doing Blake's fork seals and getting out of trouble. So what we do, the next year we went back there, we went around with a wet rag while everyone was having lunch and cleaned all the fork tubes.
Yeah, good tip.
So,
I do it on a multi-day ride, always wipe them down.
Yep.
And on a day ride, I never really had to.
so that's why we have Mick here. It looks funny with that hair, and I don't want to go there. But we're going with the experience.
Jesus.
Okay? It's that sort of experience, all right?
Yeah.
And the thing you got to remember with what we're doing is every day is a school day, all right?
Yep.
And that means there's something to learn every day. Anything you need to know?
I think, what about on one of the nights, Jays, we talk about our little American friend that you brought over, a bit of a story up on
We'll
him
do a
as
story
well.
up on Timmy Hollis, so
Yep.
and how Timmy Hollis ended up here in Australia.
Yep.
How he made a canoe out of a tree with one of our bikes, and how we went on to sell that bike without telling the bloke, who now knows it's a canoe bike and loves it.
Does he?
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, we'll talk about Tim. We had 3 Americans come out for the WR Rally. But yeah, I just want to thank the response to everyone for the rides that are continuing this year. This year we have the police ride, or the what would normally be the police ride. We've got some spots left on that. There's some places left from the WR Rally. And the WR Rally next year, we've made a decision we're going to move it to Warhope next year. So there's just a red hot tip. The calendar's not far off coming out, and everything's pretty well done there and locked and loaded. So we've just got to finish that off. And we've got the intro that's starting out of here with the free camping, and we carry all those rides. We're carrying your luggage too, so it helps everyone out.
Gonna be a good ride.
Keeps it light.
All right.
Beautiful thing.
Thanks for persevering. Sorry you sat through dead air time this morning this afternoon. We'll fix that. We've learnt from that. I'm not going to try and post the link again. Nothing too fancy. As you can see here, there's nothing too fancy. So
Beers and food time.
beers and food time. I've already cooked the chicken wings. Friday night's chicken wings, so happy days, everyone. Thanks for joining us. See ya.
Time out, Rooster.
See ya.
Hit it.
Mr. Payne, you go to the house.
Been giggling the whole night. Leave your dog alone.